All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Supernova Sales School. I'm super excited to share what I have for you today. We're going to be talking about creating case studies that actually sell. And so for those of you who don't know me, like I said, I'm Shamika Tankerson. I am the author or the creator of the Authority Selling Method. I'm international best-selling author of the book, The Power of Permission, How to Set Fire to Your Fears and Sell More. If you don't have that book, it is available on Amazon.com. You can just go download it. It is one of the most powerful things that I've ever done in a small, bite-sized chunk. It's small but mighty is what I always like to say. And I still, to this day, get notes in my inbox from people who tell me how much that book shifts and changes things for them. Here's what you need to know about me and why you're here. I see myself as a doubt slayer and the secret weapon in my client's business. And here's why. Because when you work with me, you'll quickly come to understand that I take a no excuse approach, and I will push you to get the results that you promised yourself. So my sales calls personally close at 90%. And here's what's super awesome about that. It's not about me being awesome. What I know is this: I'm not anything special. I'm not doing anything special that you couldn't do yourself. But what I do have is this deep understanding of sales and why people buy, which, by the way, is a skill set that is learned, and it is completely transferable to you. What I also understand is that I have this willingness to go get people, to go get clients, to pull them out of where they are. I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the results that I desire and to get to people to the results they desire with no apologies, no excuses, none of that. And here's why: because I'm 100% confident that what I'm providing is intervention. It's intervention that can change someone's life. And it's really simple to go through this process with people. And it feels amazing for me to do it because I know it's 100% backed by that confidence that I have and knowing that this is intervention that I'm providing. And so this, loves, is what Sales School is all about. Each month, I take one piece of sales, whether it's the sales process or something in the sales conversation, and I break it down so that you can master it. This is a classroom. Okay, so grab your pen, grab a sheet of paper, grab your favorite drink, and I want you to take notes. This is not the space that you want to be multitasking and kind of listening with one ear. Unless you're part of Sales School already, you're a student enrolled in Sales School and you have access to come back and listen to this, you want to give your undivided attention because you're going to be getting aha moments throughout this. Everything might not be for you, but it's only one thing that you need to grab a hold of that can totally transform the way that you create revenue in your business. You're here in this space to learn, okay? So once you get your learn on, here's what happens. I issue a challenge for the next 30 days for you. And what you'll do is you will go about your next month, which is, what are we in right now? The month of April. You're going to do the challenge, and then you're going to report back in the group with your wins, your ahas, your breakthroughs, your breakdowns, because yes, there will be some of those, but we'll be there every step of the way, cheering you on and encouraging you every step of the way. So today, I want to teach you how to use social proof to sell in your business. And I know that a lot of you are probably already using some form of social proof in your business right now, but I want you to really, really listen in today because I want to show you how to take that and really shift it and make it powerful. The majority of my sales come from some sort of social proof type content that I put out into the world. And that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today, how to really do this in a powerful way. I can literally put my social proof out there and it does the selling for me. People will show up and they'll tell me, I watched this video, I saw this post, and it's usually those posts that have the social proof in it. So when they show up, they're already pre-sold. And so today I want to show you how to do that. Here's what I want to do first. As always, what we do in Sales School is I want to get your mind on right. So if you're not already inside of the community, I'm going to ask you to open up a browser. The quickest way to get there is powerplayerslive.com. If you type in powerplayerslive.com, it gets you into the Sales School community. If you absolutely can't get in there, not because you're hiding, not because it's inconvenient, but you absolutely just don't have, you're on your phone or something like that and you can't do both, you can post what I'm about to give you inside of the chat. right here inside of Zoom, okay? So what I wanna do is anchor some thoughts in, because over the next 30 days, you're gonna be implementing these strategies. Even starting today, I wanna have fertile ground to allow these strategies to come in and for you to own them and be able to anchor in what will work for you with clarity and with confidence, without second guessing yourself, without doubting, all of those things. And so we have to remove anything that would get in the way, because we don't want anything to get in the way, okay? So powerplayerslive.com is where you wanna post this. It's also, if you have questions along the way, you're gonna post those in the chat or in the comment section inside of Zoom, not inside of Power Players. All right, so here's what we're posting, guys, and I am gonna be going over to the check and see if you guys are posting. Here's what I want you to know too. We actually have over 60,000 thoughts a day. And most of those thoughts are programmed to think negatively, to think about what's going wrong, what's not going well. And so you have to train yourself to focus on what is going well and feed yourself a new way of thinking, right? Here's what you also need to understand is that your unconscious, your subconscious mind that's working, whether or not you're not telling it what to think, it's doing it on its own based on past history. It is 10 billion times stronger than your conscious mind. And so daily, minute by minute, sometimes second by second, you have to tell it what your desired outcome and thoughts are, instead of just allowing it to think on its own. You can't shut it off. It's gonna do what it's gonna do unless you reprogram it. So here's the first thing that I want you to type inside of the community, and you're gonna use the hashtag Supernova Sales School, so I can go back through and cheer you guys on after we're done with the call. I am ready. So the first signal we wanna give is I'm ready. Right? I'm ready. I'm ready for what I'm about to get right now. So Shamika, I'm ready is what you're gonna type, and you're gonna use hashtag Supernova Sales School. Let me open up and get over there. So I'm ready is the first thing that you are typing. Forgot I changed the name to Limitless. And I'm going in to see you guys. You can also say this out loud. All right, so type and say it, think it. Get it in your head. I am ready, hashtag Supernova Sales School. All right, I'm inside of the group. Awesome, I see you, Jillian. All right, you guys are coming in. I'm ready, hashtag Supernova Sales School is what you wanna type. Here's the second thing that you wanna type. You wanna type, I'm open to receiving. I am open to receiving. I'm open to receiving what is exactly for me. I'm open to receiving how to use case studies to sell more of my business. I'm open to receiving my exact next steps. Just I'm open, right? We're not always available. We're not always open. We think we are, but we're not. We're shut off. We think we know everything. We think we got it all down. We're hoping that this is going to show me something. Right now, you want to signal and say, I am open. And here's what I want you to think about. Thank you, Andrea and Tessa. I see you. Thank you, Joe. I see you guys. If you are having second thoughts about should I post, can I post, here's what you want to know. How you do one thing is how you do everything. If you second guess this, you're second guessing in your sales and getting clients in your business. Also, your life is a mirror. So if you want people to show up powerfully for what you do in your business, your clients to follow the instructions you give them, whenever you participate in something, I know I do this. I'm there 100%. I do what my coaches ask me to do, okay? I am ready and I am open are the two that you have. Thank you guys for being here full out. All right, here is your next one. My ideal clients are everywhere. My ideal clients are everywhere. My ideal clients are all around me. I think this one is super powerful. You might want to write this one down and say it daily, have it posted on your, for the next 30 days, also have it posted on your computer screen and all around you. Here's why. Most often what people come to me and say is, where do I find these clients? Courtney, I see you too. I just came back inside of the group. Where do I find these clients who are willing to pay me? And I promise you, they are all around you. The story that you keep telling yourself over and over again is that I don't know where to find clients who are willing to pay. I don't know how to find the clients who want what I have. Trust me, they're all around you. So you got to start putting that as the forefront story instead of the story that you don't know where to find them, right? My ideal clients are all around me. Hashtag Supernova Sales School. Keep posting, guys. My ideal clients are everywhere. Next one. I have everything I need to create massive sales. I have everything I need to create massive sales. I have everything I need to create massive sales. The mad dash and the search for the silver bullet has got to stop. You may not have, maybe you want another level of support, but as far as knowledge and wisdom, you're masterful at what you do. Most of you know what you're selling, right? If you're in here, you should at least know what you're selling. You don't need anything else, right? You don't need another website. You don't need a sales funnel and a webinar, any of those things. You have everything you need to create massive sales right now. I have a few more of these guys. I was on a roll today. Actually, I have everything I need to create massive sales and revenue in my business. So you can write that however you want to. Here's the next one. It's so easy to fill my calendar with sales. It is so easy, like boop, it just happens. It's so easy to fill my calendar with sales. The more you tell yourself that it's hard, the harder it's going to be. The more you tell yourself that no one knows who you are, the harder it's going to be. It's so easy to fill my calendar with sales conversations. It's so easy to fill my calendar with appointments. It's so easy to fill my calendar. It's easy. It's simple. Just happens, right? It's easy. I want calls. All I got to do is just do one thing, set my intention and go for it. And I will have calls on my calendar. It's easy to fill my calendar with sales conversations. Hashtag Supernova Sales School. I have two more, and then we're going to jump into the work for today. My work is incredibly valuable. My work is incredibly valuable. Do you guys notice that as I'm telling these to you guys, I'm actually saying this to myself too? My work is incredibly valuable, not just valuable, it's incredibly valuable. Most of you all do work that literally transforms lives. I don't care what you do. Like when my clients figure out how to actually sell, their lives are transformed. They're better moms, they're better wives, they're not angry, anxious, not sleeping, not paying attention to their children. Their lives are transformed. They get to live the kind of life they want to live, right? Your work is incredibly valuable. So that's the next one you're going to type. My work, the work I do, not the type of work I do, but the work that I do is incredibly valuable. And I think this is the last one that I have for you. My potential to succeed is infinite. My potential to succeed is infinite. You know, we put limits and caps on what we think we can and cannot do. Oh, I want to get 3 people in the program, or, you know, $2,500 is the cap. And I'm like, I know so many people. I was just talking to Andrea today about this guy who does $1 million consulting for almost the same kind of work that she does. And he just takes money on the back end. So he'll charge his $25K and he'll take a percentage of revenue. So he ends up making millions of dollars per client. He's a billionaire, right? But then we're like, okay, $1,000 is, you know, what my intensive is. And so I want you to begin to take the limits off and open that space and that cap and that ceiling that you've created for yourself based on the story of how long you've been in business, how much investing you've done in your business, and allow yourself to understand that the potential for you to succeed is infinite. The potential for you to succeed is infinite. One of the main reasons I put this in there, that was the story I just told was a reason as well, but it's because I was working with my coach a couple of weeks ago, and he goes, how come you don't do 25 people in your program? And I was like, I don't know, because I had put an internal cap on. It wasn't what I thought I could handle. He was like, do you think you could handle more? And I'm like, yeah. I was just stair-stepping the amount of people that I wanted in. That was a comfortable spot for me. And I shut off the possibility of even bringing in 20 people or 25 people. It's like, no, I want, 8 to 10 is a good number for me. It's a decent amount of revenue. My upsells are great. It's been working well. And he's like, time to take that limit off, right? Your potential is infinite. It's limitless. Your potential, there's so much that you can do, so much more. You got to take the limits off. Okay. So my potential to succeed is infinite. Hashtag Supernova Sales School. That's the last one. Okay. So let's jump into this. You guys ready? We're going to jump into this. So grab your pen. And again, as questions come up, post them in the chat. you have the ability to unmute yourself, but don't unmute during the conversation. Allow me to finish teaching, and then I'll go back and answer any questions that have come up, okay? All right, so the first place I want to start with this is what doesn't work. I want to talk about what doesn't work. And so, you know, a lot of times we think we're doing case studies, and what we do is we get people to tell us how great we are. So that's not a case study, that's not a testimonial, and that's not really social proof. It's great. People think, oh, you're amazing, but it doesn't sell for you. So what doesn't work is somebody just singing your praises. And I actually have had this happen several times. I recently kind of just used one that was on the borderline of that, but I usually won't even use them in my marketing because they don't seem real. They seem really fake and cheesy, and they don't do anything for the client or the end user, the person on the prospect on the other end that you want to sell to. It's not doing you any favors. It's not selling them for you. It's just a lot of white noise. So we don't want people to feel like you walk on water. What we want to do is show them possibilities. So I'm going to teach you how to structure these case studies. I'm going to teach you what works well. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go through that, but I wanted to start with this foundation. So this isn't like, Andrea's so amazing. Courtney's the best person. She's so kind. She's so sweet. That doesn't work to sell. It's great. You can put them on your website and you can use them in your marketing, but I promise you, it's not going to get you clients, right? It will make you look good. It will stroke your ego, but it won't get you clients. We don't want people to think that you walk on water. We want your clients to have a Me Too moment, right? You just posting your clients' results. That doesn't work either. You just saying, hey, my client just sold 50 million. There's a structure to it where you walk people through, is this possible for me? Is this possible for me? And I'm going to give you that structure. Just because you get engagement with, you know, you having these, oh my gosh, I'm so amazing, and here's my client's results post, that engagement doesn't equal sales. So we don't care how many people like or comment on it. Here's what I know. Some of my posts and things that I do that are my case studies that I use and client positioning that I use, testimonials, social proof, gets the lowest amount of engagement, but I can directly track sales to it because people will say, I called you or I got on your calendar because of that post. And I'll look at it and I'm like, my mom's the only one who liked it, because they're in introspection at that moment. It hits them and they're like, oh my gosh. So you got to put your ego, set your ego aside that wants to be stroked and make you feel like, oh, I'm so amazing. I'm the next Tony Robbins or whoever in your industry is a top person. Set that aside and learn how to be comfortable and confident with just being effective, not popular, right? I keep asking over and over again, would you rather be popular or would you rather be paid? You get to choose. I know plenty of popular people who aren't paid. I could start rattling off names right now and you'd be like, wow, they have no sales? Yeah, no sales, right? I know because I'm a sales coach and people call me. I'm not rattling off any names, but I'm just saying, right? I have sales conversations and I talk to people all the time. And what it looks like on the outside is not the truth. And you're striving for what it looks like on the outside instead of effectiveness, okay? I want your posting, I want your sales conversations, I want your interactions and engagement with your clients to be effective, not popular, okay? So here's what I'm gonna teach you today. Let me go through each one of these. I'm gonna teach you 3 things that stops most people from using case studies that help them sell. And you're probably gonna find yourself when I start telling these stories. I'm going to show you the proper way to structure a case study, social proof, or testimonial so that it actually does do selling for you. And I'll give you the psychological triggers behind it. I'm going to give you plenty of scripting, different things like that. I'm also going to give you how to choose what case studies you're going to actually use. It's not what you think. It's not just like the most amazing results that you have. So this stops a lot of people from doing case studies. And in fact, Julianne, I think we had this conversation this morning. You said this, you're like, but I don't have this like bang up results in this particular area that you want to focus on for this new program that you created. And I'm like, but you do, right? So it's not always just about the amazing results. Case studies, there's other things and other reasons why you would do a case study that could actually help you sell. You can create social proof from other things, byproducts that you're not even thinking about. So I'm going to show you that as well. I'm also going to teach you some uncommon places to use your case studies to help you sell. There's places right now that most people use and it's like, that's great. But there's probably some underlooked places that you're not using them that would really, really help you. And then I'm going to issue you a challenge for this month. Okay. So every month in Supernova Sales School, I issue a challenge, and what I teach for the month, I expect you to be using until we show up again for the next time. That's the purpose of you being in this program, is that little by little, you're shifting the way you're selling in your business. So all of you who are here with me live, and those of you who are members of Sales School, I will be watching, stalking, silently lurking in the background, looking at your pages and seeing how you're implementing the strategy over the next 30 days. I want to see all these different types of case studies and social proofs being used throughout the month of April, or whatever month it is when you actually watch this training. All right, cool. So we're going to jump in. All right. First things first. 3 things that stops people from using case studies to help them sell. And actually, this is really just one thing, but I'm going to talk about different ways that it shows up, right? It's fear of judgment. It's fear. So fear is the underlying reason why you don't use case studies. And here's some of the things that I hear most often, right? I don't want to take credit for people's work, right? I don't want, that's one. I don't want people to think that everybody can get that result. That's 2, because it's super personalized. What's another one that I hear a lot of? I don't want to take credit for people's results. Oh, well, they're doing more things than just my thing that helped them get there. And here's the deal. Social proof and case studies. What are you guys talking about? I have to stop watching chat. Yes, I am stalker. If you're my client, you know I'm a stalker, because I'll jump in your email box like, please delete that thing. You're like, how are you even in the same group with me? Like in a Facebook group. I'm like, delete that comment. Don't do that. Anyway, okay. So fear stops you from using it because you're afraid. You're afraid, like, what if I say all of this and somebody calls me a liar, right? They start trolling my post, like, you can't really do that. Or what if I say all of this and somebody signs up with me and they don't get that result? It's not about you, and it's not about them getting that result. Here's the truth. Stories sell, and people need to see themselves in those stories, right? And I'm going to show you different types of ways to position this, but they need to see themselves. They need to have what I call a me too moment. And that accelerates their buying decision. You just yelling at them, like Tessa, you yelling at people saying, you need to write a book, you need to write a book. That's not going to work, right? But if you can start to show them different people who you've helped to write a book in 60 days and show them the finished product and show them how happy and excited your client is, and also show them what other benefits your client has gotten from writing the book. Maybe they've been interviewed in different places. They've got more opportunities because of it. You can show them that and talk about the before story. What happens is people see themselves in the before story, and then they begin to see themselves in the possibility. They begin to see themselves in the after story. That is why you want to use case studies and social proof. When you say, I took a doctor who couldn't really figure out how to turn what they do into regular people's language without writing a full dissertation that was like, looked like encyclopedias. And I showed them how to distill it down so that they can actually get what they wanted to say out in the world and do it in 60 days. They're fully published, getting speaking engagements, all of those things. Like, talk about the fears in the journey. Then other people who are doctors who are feeling the same way start to begin to have a Me Too moment. They start to begin like, oh, that's me. I can see, oh, I felt the same way too. I was just talking about that the other day. That's one of my fears. I'm going to stay on Tessa right now with the book writing thing. I saw a post you did today that's like, you have the words, you just don't, you're like, you don't know what to say. That keeps coming up, right? So if you show a case study with somebody whose biggest fear was, I don't really know what to say or how to say it, and then you show the end result, the other people who feel the same way, instead of you telling them this is how you feel, they're like, oh my gosh, she's me. And if she can help her and she can do it because I see her, she's a regular person just like me, I can do it too. Okay. All right. So the thing that you have to do is make a decision to let go of what you think people may think about you, how you may be judged, or all of these crazy stories you're telling yourself about something that hasn't happened yet, like somebody jumping on there saying, you're a liar, you're a fraud. You have to let that go in order to allow this strategy to work well for you. So here's what I'm going to ask everybody to do. And let's do this in chat. If you are committed to no longer making this about you and utilizing this strategy at least over the next 30 days, if it doesn't work, you can ditch it, right? Over the next 30 days in implementing your business, I want you to type yes, yes, I am, I'm committed, something like that, and you can type it in chat. I'll wait. If you're not, or you're not sure, or it's iffy, then don't say yes, right? This isn't that space. This is that kind of ground. I'm not here to push you to do things you don't want to do, but I am here to push you into your greatness. Awesome. I see you, Faye, Courtney, Tessa, Danny. I saw some more earlier. Where did they go? They disappeared. Oh, here it is. Joe. All right, guys, I see you. All right. So it's that breathe through that and go, like sometimes you post it all and you're like, I still even have those moments, right? Because I tag my clients in my posts sometimes, you know, I'm like, oh, here I go again, right? But I understand the power in it, right? It allows that person actually to be a beacon for somebody else of possibility, of hope. Andrea, I see you. Okay, awesome. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, we understand that there's usually some resistance to it, which is why you have things that come up like, oh, I don't have any case studies that I can put up. I have no results to show, right? That's all the fear. The fear tells you it's a lie. Like you have to have this like amazing like person who did so well, and then you can use it. And all the while you're missing these opportunities, which I'm going to show you what those opportunities are. So there's a proper way to structure a case study or a testimonial or social proof. And here's what happens when you get this wrong, when you don't do it right. It doesn't work, first and foremost. That's when you do rub people the wrong way because they're like, what is she talking about? Who cares? Because you're not showing any value to the reader. The reader's like, okay, and what does that have to do with me? Right? And so when you get this wrong, you are literally leaving clients, customers, and money, sales on the virtual proverbial table. I need to find that table because that table's got a lot of money on it. But you're leaving money on the table when you don't do this right. Because you miss people. They see it, but they're like, and they keep going. Or they might celebrate you like, oh, you're so cool. But so many times of doing that, they're like, okay, great, you're cool. What else do you want us to say? Like, you know, because there's no value to them. When you structure it the right way, this is when your prospects start to have those Me Too moments. I just totally closed my notes. This is when your prospects start to have those Me Too moments. Your calendar will start getting filled. And here's what happens when your calendar starts getting filled. I'm just trying to get back to where I was. There we are. Your calendar will start getting filled with people who just show up. You're like, I don't even know where they came from. Or people will start to message you because they saw something that resonated with them. That resonated them. And I should have asked you guys to kind of type in some of the fears that you have to doing this. Because I know a lot of you, I've talked to you and said, hey, start doing this. And I tell you to do it in different ways, depending on who you are. And I look on your page for months and I never see a case study. I never see a testimonial. I never see a client feature. I never see your successes posted. And then I know you're afraid to do it. Something is blocking you, right? When you get this right, literally your sales conversations actually become easier as well, because guess what? That's when you're positioning yourself as an authority who knows what the heck they are doing. Why? Because the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. The proof is in the pudding. They're like, oh, well, yeah, I know you've been talking about, Joe, like how to heal your body from the inside out, right? All the stuff that you talk about. But now that you're showing me, wow, here's this mom of 5 who used to suffer from chronic whatever, I'm just making up stuff. And all of a sudden it's gone. And all she did was follow this process. And she had tried everything. She was at her wit's end and just thought she was going to have to be on medication for the rest of her life or whatever. Now I see myself in her. I'm like, wow, he really does know what he's talking about. You elevate your authority when you use social proof. The proof is in the pudding. When you get this right, your sales conversations will be easy. Your bank account will be reflective of it. And literally, there's a ratio, right? And I'm probably going to talk about this a little bit later again, but I should see more social proof on your pages than you yelling at people about what they need to do. Right? So it's kind of like, let's look at it this way. Jab, jab, right hook, right? A few times a week, social proof. Then you can fuss at people about what they should be doing right. But more social proof. Like I should scroll through your pages and literally see different ways, not all the same way, of you sharing results that you create. And there's different types of results, and we're going to talk about that. Is that a Gary V thing? I have no idea. I just made that up. It's a Shamika and Gary V thing. Oh, it's a title of his book. That's cool. Had no idea. Okay, so it's kind of what you want to do. So you want to do the regular things that you do in your posting, and then you want to sprinkle these throughout. So in the beginning, maybe you don't do a couple, maybe you do one a week, a feature or some kind of post. And I'll tell you the different types of case studies that you can do. But you want to make sure that it's there. I keep doing that. I don't know why I keep clicking something that keeps making my notes go away. All right. All right, so here's the proper way to structure, which I don't even have those notes on here. And then I'm going to give you a video testimonial script. So the proper way to structure a case study, no matter how you're doing it, whether it's video, whether it's in a social media post, whether you're doing a case study where you're interviewing somebody, doesn't matter. This is how you want it structured. Not, oh my gosh, so-and-so so amazing and you should hire them too. I throw all my money at them. Those suck. Those don't work. Okay. What you want to show is the client journey. Okay. You want to show, where was this client before they hired you, or before they came across your content, or before they implemented your strategies. And not like where they were, like, oh, they didn't have any clients. The emotional state of where they were. What were their frustrations? What were they saying to themselves? Were they about to give up? Were they thinking they were going to have to go get a job? Or like, what was the emotional state? Were they so fearful that it was never going to happen? Like they had this deep desire to do the thing, but they just thought it never was going to happen. What was going on in their head? Because that's where the Me Too moment's going to happen. Also bringing out who they are. Like I talked about a mom of 3, all of those things, who they are and where were they, right? So that's the first stage. It's always about that, right? Tell me about that. Tell me about what made you like come to this point, or what was going on with you before we started working together. So where were they? And then what shifted for them? What shifted for them? And this is where you get to highlight your work, right? So this is not like, oh, I had this epiphany, aha moment, revelation. That's not what you're going to do here. What shifted for them is, what pieces of your work did you infuse into their life that got them the result, right? We did one session. We, tweaked their messaging. I gave them a strategy on how to use case studies that sell. They put a case study out, booked 5 calls. Those 5 calls turned into 2 clients. What happened? What shifted? This is your work. This is actually positioning the fact that, yeah, they could have done it, but they did it with me. So what did you see as an authority that was different than what they had been doing before? And the fact that they had been overlooking it, it was simple. So what shifts happened? And then the final thing, what was the result of that shift? This is where you talk about what the outcome was. What was the results of the shift? So that's a standard version of how, no matter how you post it, this is how you should post it. Whether you're live streaming, whether you do a video, whether you type out a testimonial, that's how you want to show the journey of getting. And in the beginning is where you grab the reader with the Me Too moment. Oh, this person is like me. Right? So where were they before the shift, before you, before your work, before the strategy, whatever? What shifted for them? Yes. What were the results of the shifts? What were the results? What was the outcome? Now, the outcome is not just like I said something like, oh, and then they booked so many clients. For me, that's kind of almost inside of the shift. The result is like, what is the booking of those clients and having that money now do for them? What does life look like now in contrast to the life you, or what you painted a picture of in step one? Do you guys understand the difference? There's a key distinction there. The results are not, for me, that my clients book sales. Yeah, there's sales and yeah, there's money, but the results are actually their, what do you call it? What having those things does for them. So it's their confidence, right? It's their ability to have sales conversations that don't take 2 hours for them to get through. It is the time they get to spend with their children now. Life is much different, right? I talked about this before. They're not in front of the computer at all hours of the night trying to figure out where their next sale is going to come from. That's the results. And no, Jolianne, you have everything. Okay? Results are different. So I want you to start thinking of what are your case studies that you have and what would those results also be for you? Okay? That's the standard structure of any case study that you do. I want to grab something that I actually didn't download. So if you guys can bear with me for a second, and let me see if I can get this real quick. I want to grab some questions. When you have someone write a testimonial for you, don't just say, hey, write me a testimonial. You actually want them to answer questions for you so that excuse me, so that you guide the case study or the testimonial so that you get what you want, because people will always send you back those glowing she walks on water, throw your money at her case studies, and they think they're doing you a favor. Again, those don't work and I can't use them. Okay. So let me grab some questions. You want to guide them so that they literally in the video just answer your questions. You want to guide them so that you get this format. So I'm going to give you some really powerful questions that you can ask that gets them there. So here's the other thing about case studies. When you ask people for them, you want to show them what's the benefit to them. So for me, my clients get additional visibility when I showcase them. Undoubtedly, whenever I showcase my clients or I show their case study, their list grows, they get more followers, all of those things happen. Plus they get to the benefit of sharing with other people, and giving them hope, which most of my clients are servants, so they love the ability to do that. We often think that when we ask people for something like that, we're only asking for something, but you're literally giving them an opportunity. You're giving them a visibility opportunity. And also, my case studies can pop up at any time. So once you give me one, it's going to live till infinity. It could be anywhere. So at any moment that I'm using it, you get more eyes on you. I know that when I see case studies of somebody I'm looking at hiring, I always click through their pages. I always go check out those people to see if they're real, to see what kind of results they literally are creating, what it looks like to me, at least on the outside. And so there's a visibility opportunity there. Okay. All right. So here are the questions. I found them. That was very quick. And if somebody wants to type this in chat, you can do that so that everybody can have it. So I often will tell them to tell me who they are and what they do in the world, or who they are and their business name. So I'll tell them to start with that, because that's where the visibility comes from. So you can figure out how to tailor this to yourself, but I'm going to give you a suggested format. Okay. Then I will ask them, like, why did you invest in working with me? Or why did you invest in working with this program? How long did you know me or interact with me before you did it? What was going on in your head? What were you looking for? Right? So they're telling their story. What were you struggling with? Am I moving too fast, guys? You good? I'm moving too fast? Okay. Yeah. So start with their name, who they are. And then how did you connect? Like, how did they find you? Like, give them an opportunity to talk. Like, I found Jolianne, finding a Facebook post or something like that, right? And then kind of talk about what they were struggling with. What was your struggle before working with me? What was going on? What were you frustrated with? The next question. Why did you invest in the program? And I'll tell you why I'm asking these kind of questions, because all along in this audio, what the person is doing is answering some of the most common objections people have. And it's for people to have a Me Too moment. Oh, I haven't invested with her so far yet too, because of the same reason. All right, let me see what this person has to say. So why did you invest in sales school? Why did you invest in working with Shamika or working with me? So that's the next question they're going to answer. And remember, in video format, even in typing, literally you just have them answer these questions, and then you can take it and repurpose it. I'm going to talk about repurposing in a second. So either in video, or they can just type the answers to these questions and you formulate your own case studies and social proof from the answers. Next question. What's different about working with Shamika? What was different about your experience? What's different about sales school? What's different about Play Big? What's different about Joe's approach to health? What's different about Tessa's process for writing a book? What was different? You guys ready to move on? Some of y'all got your cameras off. I can't see you. Hiding in the safe space. What's been the most exciting outcome? So I have two ways that I ask this question. That's one way, right? What's been the most exciting outcome? Or what was going on in your head, Jolianne, was just me elaborating on the question, just a different way to say it. So I either say, what's been the most exciting outcome, or what was an outcome that happened that you're extremely grateful for, that was like, you never thought would happen. You didn't expect it, right? What's a result that you got that wasn't expected, but you're like so grateful that you have it? So two ways that you can kind of ask that, depending on what. I know that my work has a byproduct to it, so I like to ask the second version of that question, the latter. And then this is my most favorite question to end every case study, whether it's live and you're interviewing the person, or if they record a video, or if they type it up for you, because you can always use this when you repurpose. What would you say to someone who's thinking about investing with me, right? Or in my program? Or what would you say to someone who has a similar circumstance to yours, who's on the verge of deciding if they want help with XYZ? And that just allows that person to process, like they begin to be the evangelist for you, because they talk from their point of view of, here's how I was feeling. And can I tell you guys the truth? When I close 100% of my room at my live events, especially in my one-day events, the short ones where I bring in people who don't know me, this series of questions is what I use with my panel. And this is what actually closes those sales for me, this last question, okay? Which is, what would you say to someone who was thinking about investing in, put in whatever, working with me, whatever the program is? Or you can say, what would you say to someone who is in a similar situation as you were before you started working with me, who's thinking about investing in or thinking about hiring someone to help them with XYZ? Just put it in your own words. This structures everything, right? So you have the framework, which are the 3 phases. This is what you're the journey. You're trying to show the client journey, but these are the questions that you ask in order to get people to pour out their heart and soul so that people can have those Me Too moments. Okay. So that's it for those questions. That's perfect for video testimonial scripts. And what you want to tell people is, don't veer off and just say something crazy, like literally on the video, answer my questions. Because if they start doing those, she walks on water, throw your money at her, make it rain, you can't use those. They're cute, but they don't do the job, okay? The 3 parts of the journeys are the where were they before? What shifted for them? And then what were the results? Yeah, I don't know. I'm having one of those days where I'm just being funny. Make it rain. Throw your money at her. People give those kind of testimonials all the time though, or I see them on people's pages. I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, it's not helping you. I see worthless testimonials all the time. All right, so that's perfect questions for a video testimonial script. If you ever want somebody to just record a video, shoot them those questions and say, hey, just answer these questions. Even if you want somebody to write, like I don't tell people to write me a testimonial. If I ask for the testimonial and then I send them those questions and just say, answer them, then I can structure the testimonial verbatim, just using the pieces of what they wrote. I can pull it out, use pieces of it, right? And so now we're going to talk about repurposing it, okay? So I can take a video testimonial and I can use it as is, or I can slice it and just use clips of what people say, right? I can run ads to that. I can put it inside of another training or video that I'm doing. I can take the words that they said and repurpose it into a full case study that I write, right? Knowing the journey, knowing what we did before and after with a picture of the person. So you can take one testimonial and repurpose it in different ways. I can plug in their words in quotes inside of a long value post that I post on Facebook where I'm trying to get a point across. And then I'll say, like, my client X said this. And this is literally why you don't need 10 million case studies to be able to start using social proof throughout your business, because you can repurpose 1, 2, 3, 4 of them in so many different ways. So I like getting video because I have it and I can use it anytime I want to. I don't always use people's video testimonials. Sometimes I'll just pull what they said out of the testimonials and plug it in different places, inside of my content, inside of my emails, inside of the posts that I do on social media. I will take the entire thing, type it up, and just use it as a printed case study for maybe a program that I'm doing. So many different ways. All right. So now I want to introduce you guys to a concept. And I know I just gave you a lot already. What I want you to begin to think about right now is you're going to take one of these ways of using social proof in your business to help you sell more, and you're going to pick it and do it. That's a challenge that I'm going to give you. So start thinking like, what feels good to you? What feels like, oh, I could start doing that right away. Okay. There's something that I do that's called a POW post. POW because it packs a punch, right? But POW also stands for proof of work. Proof of work. And there's a few different ways that you can do a POW post. And actually, you know what? Let me share my screen and I'll show you a couple. Actually, let me show you this generalized one from I have a mastermind partner, accountability partner right now that does a great job with this. So I'm going to pull up his page and we're going to use his recent POW post that he booked 5 sales conversations from. Where is it? Like, I know he hasn't posted that much in the last few days. Okay, here it is. All right, so I'm going to share my screen real quick so that you guys can see it. Hopefully it shows up well. Share screen. So this is John, and John is my mastermind partner right now. He's my accountability partner. So he's the one that beats me on top of the head when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do on a daily basis. But this is what's called a generalized POW post. It's not where you call out a specific person or celebrate a specific type of win. It's just where you do a blatant like list of the kind of results that you get for people, and then you do an invitation. So it's still a POW post, it's still proof of work. So he says, Instagram expert has her first $130,000 month, all using webinars. You'll start to get an idea of what he sells, right? So a company hosts a $107,000 webinar by adding the right follow-up. Facebook expert doubles his lead to conversion rate and earnings per lead. Right? So he just takes 3 types of results that he's gotten, but see how he tells who the person is, he tells what the results are, and he positions himself because he knows he sells webinars. He's like, all they did was use webinars. This person probably wasn't using webinars before, right? The soil company, he writes email series and does copywriting, right? So he's like, we had to add a follow-up sequence, and then they were able to turn their webinar into selling nothing or a little bit to 107,000, all in one sentence. And anybody who's an Instagram expert, who has a company that's thinking about using webinar, they have that Me Too moment. Oh, I would love to have that. So it's generalized. So you just talk about who the person was. Like Joe, I said, mom of 3, even though that's probably not your ideal client, but I'm just making it up, right? That's how you generalize the POW post. And then he just does a short invitation. Who of my friends here would like a webinar created for them in April? We have the right strategy, great copywriter. He kind of talks about it. And he's like, if you're interested, let me know. It's a very subtle invite by doing a generalized POW post. You guys with me? So that's one way without saying my client XYZ did. Let me do one. I just did one today with Andrea, so I'm going to use that one. It's easier. Let me find me. So you have generalized and then you have client specific, right? Client specific. So this is literally me, when I can find it, taking a client and saying, this is what my client has done. Okay, the only thing is I didn't make an invitation to do anything. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's a game for me. It's a dance. A little bit of intuition of should I be asking for people to reach out or not? It's easy. I could have easily said PM me if you want the same kind of results, right? But there's a little bit of story in here. So I'm teaching a lesson while also celebrating my client for what she did. All right. So I'm talking about how Andrea, came to me and she had like, 14 sales conversations, and every last one of them told her they had to talk with their husband, but they didn't buy. And so I tweaked it, gave her a little bit of scripting. So you can see it. I'm positioning myself here. She used the verbiage that I gave her, of course, right? Did a little bit of scripting, and she went back, and 40% of those people actually said yes on the spot to her offer, right? Then I go on and I talk about what she's doing now in her business. And then I'm just telling people, hey, you got to stop taking no for an answer. You got to be committed to it. So this is client specific praise, right? Case study. Okay. You can also, I'm going to stop sharing this. These are the ones people are really scared to do, but these are the ones that sell really well. Okay. Client specific. So client specific can also show up in a side-by-side case study where you interview your client, and you can drag client specific out, right? I can do a post one week that says, oh my gosh, my client's getting amazing results, or my client Andrea is getting amazing results. I can't wait to celebrate her. We're going to do a case study soon. Can't wait to share it with you. That's one proof of work post. And you can talk about what those results are. She just did XYZ. Next week, you do the case study with her, side-by-side interview, right? So that's another format of doing a proof of work post. Side-by-side interview, where we, same questions, right? Same journey, client journey, but I'm taking one person and I'm like milking it, right? The interview goes up, and now you just keep, so I can take a whole month and take one client and just keep using their case study over and over again to teach a lesson and invite people to work with me. Does that make sense? All right, let me see what else. All right, celebration post. So a celebration post or a brag post is just like, it could be about you or it can be about your clients. You have generalized, you have client specific, you have celebration posts. And that's just like the, oh my gosh, I can't believe this just happened kind of post, right? Or it can be as simple as, 5 sales calls, 3 sales, bam, that's the way you do it. It's what I like to call celebration or a brag post. And then you move on with your life. So you have generalized, you have client specific, you have celebration or brag post, you have video/live interview. You can do screenshots and photos as well. When you do posts that actually have the photos of your clients or photos of the proof of work in them, whether it's a screenshot, those work well too, because it's proof. Remember, proof is in the pudding. And social proof sells, it sells for you. And think about it, if I'm scrolling through your page, looking through your digital footprint, and you're teaching me, you're doing live streams, you're giving value, you're yelling at me about what I need to be doing, and then sprinkled throughout there all along the way, a couple of times a week, you're continually showing me how you create results. That's when your profile starts selling for you. So I want to break down the case study side-by-side with client live interview PAL post that you do, because I think it's really important to understand what makes these work really well when they're done correctly. So if you follow the structure that I've given you, including the questions, but don't be like, it's not an interrogation. It's a fun conversation where you're there's a little bit of learning to it. They're learning. There's a lesson in it, right? So that leads me to this. How do you choose what case studies to do? Because most people think it's like, just take the most common best results and those are the case studies. And I don't have any of those knock it out of the park results, so I can't do anything. I'm about to give you something that's going to change your life. Your case studies are there to answer common objections. Your case studies are there to dispel common myths that people have about why they can't get results. So I'm always looking for people based on the journey, not just how big the results are. Yes, I have my 100K and 90-day case studies. Yes, I have my, on the track to 6 figures in, 30 days. Going from zero to now making sales very quickly, right? 10K sales, 8K sales from, you know, trying to sell $29 packages and ebooks. Those are amazing, right? Or my clients who come to me and they've been in business for a year, have all the branding, have all the amazing things in place, and they haven't made any sales, and they work with me, and just like that, the sales start coming in, right? So you have to think about who are the people that are showing up in your world and what are the things that get them stuck, and your case studies actually answer the objections and the common misconceptions they have about why they can't get results. The only thing you missed, Jolene, is the general post. So the general proof of work and client specific proof of work. Do you guys get what I just said about how you choose a case study? So I have a case study. This one actually is a knock it out of the park result, but it was from somebody who was an introvert. I'm an extrovert. And so I want people to know that my methods are not just for extroverts, because people get intimidated. They're like, well, I'm not like you, Shamika. So I dispelled that myth by having an introvert do a case study who knocked it out of the park using my strategies. That's how you decide. So it's not just, oh, the results were amazing. They lost, 30 pounds in 2 days. I hope that never happens to anyone, right? But it's not just those wow. Yeah, you want to do some wow, but you also want to dispel myths and answer common objections using your case studies so people can have a Me Too moment. Oh, I was thinking I had to have XYZ in order to join her program, but now I see I don't. That's how you choose. I'm often looking for them, right? I recently just did a case study of somebody who didn't knock it out of the park in 30 days, 2 weeks, 90 days. It took them a little bit longer, and that's okay too. What I wanted to position is, if you stick to it and work it, it will work. And everybody's journey is different. That's okay. The other reason why I did a case study like that is because after a while, you get tired of hearing how fast everybody else gets results. And you just want to see a human, right? Not the anomalies all the time. I know that about my ideal clients. And so I'm giving them what I know they desire to see as well. What does it look like for somebody who's just sticks with it over time? What do the real case studies look like? Not the ones we're all so excited to show. And then them hearing from somebody like that makes them feel better about themselves. They have a Me Too moment and they're like, okay, maybe she is the person who can support me. Okay, so that's how you decide how to choose which case studies. Misconception, yeah, best results. And then one other thing I do when I do live case studies, so that there's an added benefit to the person, because you want them to share as well. I will usually have my clients do some sort of giveaway of their own, right? But it's not a giveaway to their business. It's something that would support people. So what are the 3 mindset shifts that you had in this process of getting to this result? And then we'll usually set it up on the back end where people can opt in. So now they get an opportunity, right? I'm not just taking their time away. I'm saying, hey, let me give you some visibility. And then also let me help you build your list. So depending on what kind of business you have, there may be something you can do as well. But I try to make it, because I am in business and I help people build business, I try to make it non-business specific. So it's kind of business specific, but not. So it's not like, hey, since you are teaching people how to write a book, let's give them an XYZ to write a book. No, it's about the live stream, because people are on the live stream because they want to know about whatever challenges you had. So now they're like, well, tell me more about how you did it. So it's kind of like a how you did it kind of giveaway. What's my top 5 things that I can tell you about making this process really work for you? And I try to make sure that their giveaway is not repeating anything we talk about inside of the actual case study. That's it. I'm just giving you guys all my secret sauce. All right, here's the last thing that I want to cover with these. And then we're going to issue the challenge and open up for Q&A. The uncommon places to put your testimonials or case studies and posts that actually help you sell that a lot of people don't think of. So people think about putting it on sales pages. There's different things we're typically used to doing, but there's places where we're actually missing the opportunity. And the first space is in your newsfeed, in your social media posting. So we kind of talked about how to do that more in your social media. I think you should be putting social proof, working it into your posting in different formats that we've talked about today, twice a week minimum. I shouldn't be able to scroll through a few posts, like 3 to 4 posts, without seeing some sort of social proof. In any format, it can be general, it can be celebration or brag, it can be a one-liner, doesn't matter, but it should be there. It could be like, you know, a client-centered one. So in your actual day-to-day action. So I see people all the time posting like you'll post recipes and you'll post, you know, value posts that talk about things, but you never talk about your client results. And that's like an accelerator to your sales because it's proof of work. When people land on your calendar page to book an appointment, you can add case studies, testimonials, proof of work on that page because people will land there and they might get a little scared. So those are there to say, look, here's some Me Too moments for you. So that kind of lets you know, like on those pages, the bulleted line, like I'll go to people's pages and the thing they use to highlight has nothing to do with anything, right? When you think about Me Too moments or myths that you're dispelling or why you would want to highlight this person's testimonial, that's what goes in as the bulleted or the bolded claim at the top of the testimonial. Faye, can you ask me a more specific question about the giveaway? Like what part of it, did you miss it all or were you trying to get clarity around some way that it works?
No, you were talking about how to use it. Like you were saying you would not use the same giveaways, something you were saying, and I didn't really catch it.
Okay.
Like you wouldn't use the same giveaway when you do the post or something, but I wasn't sure what you were saying.
Yeah, I'll come back and reiterate on that. All right, so the other space to leave it in, what happened to my page? So on your application page and the application process, right? So in your screening and application process itself. So after people fill out the application, I would literally send them to a page that has a ton of testimony or case studies, not testimonials, video type case studies or written case studies where you show before and after results before they ever get on the call with you. Because again, it's doing the selling for you. I have something that I call a proof of work page that every person who's going to have a sales conversation with me actually ends up there. It's part of the homework that I give them. And then again, the most overlooked place is in your regular marketing rotation, consistently. At least once a week, preferably twice a week, you should have proof of work rolling through. Without caring about whether or not people respond to it or like it or comment. Eventually, they probably will start to, but it's not about that. It's about the digital footprint that you leave behind for people who are coming across to you as you're doing other things that lead people to you so they can go, oh, wow, she really is an expert. He really is an expert at what he does. Okay. All right. I'm going to issue the challenge and then Faye, I'm going to answer your question in the Q&A section. So here's the challenge. You're going to pick one type of case study or testimonial to utilize, and you're going to use it within the next week. That's the first part of the challenge. Use it within the next week, preferably within the next 48 hours. That is your challenge that I'm issuing to you. If that is a challenge that you're willing to accept, and I want you utilizing this process over the next 30 days as a consistent part of your marketing and sales efforts. Okay. But in the next 48 hours, hopefully, at least within the next week, I want to see one proof of work case study kind of post from everyone that's here. If you are committed to doing that, I was going to have you guys post something else. Just type, I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. I'm in. Cool. See you, Danny, Faye, Jolianne, Tessa. Joe. Joe's like, I'm uncomfortably down. It is uncomfortable because you're actually putting yourself out there and you're subject to people coming back. I think it was Andrea. She kind of did a proof of work post inside of somebody else's group. And it was amazing, and it's getting all kinds of content, and I'm actually going to use it as part of the training inside of my Play Big program. I'm like, you're going to permanently become part of my training. But she had somebody come on there and say, I call BS. And it's like, you got to deal with that too. If you don't get haters like that or people trolling your posts, you're not doing it right. That's all I want to tell you. You rub somebody the wrong way. And the reality of it is that person said that because they don't have the results. They can't possibly see how it's possible, but you know that it is, right? So that's when you know it's working, and that's when you know people are paying attention, and it's amazing, right? All right, so let's see. All right, so let me go back to Faye's question, and then any other questions, guys, this is the time to type it in. I'm gonna do a little bit of invitation to sales school. I want to start pushing that a little bit more. So I want to make sure you guys understand how it works if you're here as a guest. Most of you guys are actually members of sales school. Let's see. I just want to make sure I got the question right. Where'd it go? Oh, the giveaway. Okay. So what I was saying, Faye, is when you talk to people in the case study, you're going to ask, like, where were they? What was going through their mind? What's the one thing that you want to say to people? All of those things. If you do a giveaway that's like, hey, here's 3 mindset tips to get to XYZ, right? Here's 3 things that I absolutely had to change in order to start monetizing my LinkedIn profile, right? That's your client's giveaway. And so what happens is you don't want to repeat what they said in the case study interview. You want them to come up with 3 totally separate mindset shifts or ideas that really they had to do in order for this process to work well for them. Does that make sense? Otherwise, people are just downloading the same thing they just heard. That's not really what we're trying to do. We're trying to provide value. And so you tell them that it's not going to be the same things that you heard here, right? So it allows me, especially since my clients are business clients, it allows me to help them build their list as well. Mm-hmm. All right, any other questions, guys? I think I see a message. Okay, Courtney said she was in. All right. All right, seems like you guys know what you're talking about. I'm here. You guys invest in sales school. This is, if you're not a private client of mine, this is your only opportunity to be able to ask me questions. So if something about this strategy you're like, I'm not quite sure about, this is the time that you do it. Not in my inbox later, because I'm not going to answer you. Any questions? Going once, going twice? Okay, yeah. Do you have a specific question about it, or are you good? Here, let me unmute you. Go ahead.
There's a lot of noise in the background.
It's okay.
Okay, so I know you just answered about the giveaway, but if I'm doing a case study, the giveaway is what the person is giving to my audience?
Mm-hmm.
Or?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And you might not, this might not work for you, or you might have to think outside of the box. See, my
Yeah.
clients are business owners. So if I'm going to take a business owner's time, this is my way of giving value back to them for participating with me.
Yeah. I have to think for me how
And typically the only time that I won't do that is if we didn't plan ahead of time and we're like jumping on really quick, or we didn't go through the full process. But typically if I do a case study with my client, we do some sort of giveaway for them on the back end. So there may not be anything like that for you. Your clients just may do it out of the kindness of their hearts, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or it's a great way also to just, when you present the person, to just say what they're doing. So that way the people that are listening, that are thinking, oh, I might actually need those services.
Right. If they are business owners, right?
Yeah.
So that first part, remember the first question on there is, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you always give them that opportunity. So it's always going to
Okay.
be there anyway, where people can track back to where they are. And I may ask them in the interview at the end, where can people find you? If we're not doing a giveaway, I'll say that. I'll say, can you tell people where to find you?
That's great.
Okay. Is that it? I lost you. You disappeared.
Yes. Thank you. No, I didn't disappear. I'm still
Well, you
here.
disappeared on my screen. I can't find you. So you're going to have to mute yourself. Yeah, you're totally gone. I hear you, but I can't see you. Oh, there you are. Hi. All right. I'm going to mute you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I think I saw another question. I'm considering someone I helped offline who's not a client ask for a giveaway for applications purposes. I don't understand this question. So are you considering doing a case study with somebody who you helped who's not a client? Like, I don't care if you're a client or not. If you use my strategies and you get results, like I just gave somebody killer strategy yesterday. And the first thing out of their mouth was, do you want a testimonial? I'm like, heck yeah, I do. Right? I want you to talk about it because I just gave my time, right? And that's a way for me to be compensated. So when I do stuff like that, where I know I'm working with somebody who may not be my client, but I'm actually going to give them strategy that's going to change their business and help get them sales, I usually will ask up front, hey, here's what I desire. I would like for you to do a case study with me or a testimonial, and maybe I'll say after you make the first sale, or just do it now about this situation or this, what I've given you right now. Okay.
Can I ask something about what you just said?
Sure.
Okay, so you gave them the strategy and it was something different and new for that person. You would ask them for a testimonial or something for that? Or you will
Are
wait?
you talking about somebody who isn't a client of yours?
Isn't a client, right? Not
I'll
a
just
client.
ask them for a testimonial about the experience. Because if they're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, this is going to change everything for me, then I want them to talk about that. What were your thought processes before? Like, what did you think you had to do in order to create the result? What did we shift? So I had a session, we tweaked my packages, we tweaked my pricing, and now I know, here's what's going to be different for me moving forward.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, you don't have to wait till they actually create a result. And so here's the other thing that I didn't talk about. Thanks for saying that. One of the mistakes people make with case studies and testimonials is they don't upgrade and update. They only talk about the fast pal. Here's the results right now. Here's the singing my praises results. And they forget to update the ongoing results. And that actually will anchor. So when you come back and do the same client and say, remember that case study that I did where the person sold, $50K in 50 days. Well, they've gone on and now they have a multiple six-figure business. So it is the continuum of the transformation, right? You don't have to just get one case study from the person. You want to show the journey. That's more proof of work. That's more proof of your expertise, because what happens is, most people have case studies and testimonials and they never go back and update you. The reason why is because they can't, right? They can't do that. So, like we did Daphne's case study. Daphne went from struggling to sell a $97 session to selling 60K clients, right? We scaled her to six figures in less than 90 days. It was about 45 days actually. which she thought it was going to take her 6 months to get her business to 6 figures. Now she's traveling all over the world and getting into the multiple 6 figures in her business, mostly from consulting, a side that she never thought that she would have, right? So it's the next step. Like, come back. So yes, get the initial, oh, I had the session, and then take the same person when they finally make the sale or do something different, or it changes, gives them another opportunity, and just update it. Hey, remember my client XYZ that I talked about? That's a key component that a lot of people miss. They don't keep talking about where the clients are now, and it's because most people can't. Most people sell programs one-off, and they don't have a continuing relationship with their clients. So it's positioning for you. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Doesn't look like it in chat. I don't see anything. All right. So I'm going to do just a quick overview because I want to make sure everybody understands like what's actually getting in a case study. So the challenge is to pick one type of case study or testimonial, utilize it. Here's what you want to know about this strategy. It's rinse and repeatable. It's rinse and repeatable. You can do this over and over and over again. And it doesn't matter if you're even using the same one case study in different formats over and over and over again in the beginning. It's okay. We think everybody sees everything we post. I promise you they didn't see it. That post that I showed you guys of John's, that was the exact same issue that he had. We were having an accountability meeting and he was like, well, I have some posts that worked really well, but I'm like, a little hesitant to repost the same post. I'm like, repost it. No one cares, right? And he booked 5 sales calls. It was the same post he posted like 2 weeks ago. Just keep using them. He changed it like a little bit. He changed some of the wording in it, but it was the same exact examples that he used in his generalized post, and it worked the second time. And it was in a 2-week time span. So we are always thinking we need to come up with new content and new ways to do things, and it's exhausting to us as business owners, as creators in our business, right? We're creating content, we're creating clients, we're creating revenue, we're doing everything. It's exhausting when all you have to do is take the ones that work really, really well and redo those. Okay. I actually found Andrea's post. I was Googling something for sales school or looking up something for sales school, and the post popped up. That was from last year. I grabbed the same post, put a new picture on it, added 2 lines to it. That was my post for the day. I was like, boom, done. Right? So that's it. You just repurpose. Put it back in, put them back, especially if it works well. If you get a client from it, or if you get a lot of engagement from it. Remember, I don't gauge based on engagement, but just reuse it. Okay. So it's a rinse and repeatable process. And the key is to do this and focus on it, make it part of the process. That's why for the next 30 days, I want you to make sure that at minimum once per week, you have some kind of proof of work post in your general marketing, and that you're using these strategies somewhere in your business. Because the truth is, you could have websites, you can have branding on point, all of those things, and still not be making sales because you're not showing why you're different. And this is one of those things that positions you as a go-to authority because you have proof that what you do works. So don't be fearful and afraid of being judged as, oh, you're just using people. That's just your limiting mind chatter welling up and trying to stop you from going to the next level because it's resistance. None of that stuff matters. You've got to choose to be a lighthouse to people. And this kind of content allows people to have those Me Too moments that help them to get over their own fears and make a decision to move forward on their bigger vision that they have for themselves. Okay, so keep your eye on the prize, commit to it for the next 30 days, even when it feels uncomfortable, right, Joe? Commit to continually putting it out there. Even if with your eyes, it's like, oh, nobody's responding to those, they don't like it. Just try posting in a different way. Do a different format. Use a picture. Use a couple of sentences. Do a brag post. Do a celebration post. Like, just play with it. Have fun. Enjoy it. And give yourself some credit for the beautiful work that you're doing in the world. Okay, so just focus. Okay, so Here's what I know, guys. I know that we are always unconsciously more committed to familiar discomfort than we are to an unfamiliar new possibility. Always. Always, always, always. Like I was talking about earlier when we were doing our check-in posts, there are more unconscious drivers guiding you than you're aware of. Most of them are limiting. Most of them are programmed to what could possibly blow up and go wrong and negative. Your yes and your next level, your upgrade to selling at a premium, will require you to transform into something you've yet to see. It's going to require you to not only do different things, but to be different. This is your opportunity. If what you've been doing hasn't been working, what is it going to kill you for the next 30 days to infuse a different strategy in? Here's what else I know, that we go further when we have a trainer. When I think about myself in CrossFit, I'm always like, I can't do another one. And my coach is like, stop whining. I'm going to tell your clients you're not being a power player. And I'm like, leave me alone. And he's like, yes, you can. You could do one more, right? You could do one more. And I'm like, okay. And I do one more, right? And I keep going. So when there's somebody pushing you, somebody in your corner saying, go, you can do this, we can shut down some of that mind chatter and create the results that we want. And this is what you get when you're actually enrolled as a student in sales school, right? It's what you get when you don't drop in as a guest. So as a guest, you get to come here, you get some opportunity to talk, but then you don't have that sounding board, right? So what you get is you get this community with your favorite sales strategist, that's me, right? And success mentor. And it's designed to equip you with a rock solid mindset, laser focused sales strategies that will accelerate your income and the impact that you're having out there, because you can reach more clients, right, when you know how to sell. And so I want you to think about this. If getting paid in the world for what you really, really want to do, for your knowledge, your expertise, is important to you, if you want to close more sales with the right clients, not just any clients who come along that give you headaches, into your high-end programs, you want to become the go-to authority in your marketplace so that people pay your rates and they don't bat an eyelash at it. It's not like, oh my gosh, how dare you charge that much? And you want that steady flow of conversations booked on your calendar, sales, all of those things. Sales school is where you want to start. And so I'm going to give you guys the link to enroll in case you're not enrolled. It's bit.ly/supernova enroll, bit.ly/supernova enroll. And here's the deal, because you are here, I know you're part of the Limitless community. Sales school is $1,500 a year. It's annually $1,500 a year, or $200 a month, month to month, with the 1-year commitment. So here's the deal. When you're inside of sales school, inside of Limitless, you can come into sales school for a one-time lifetime access for $1,000. So you just pay one time, you're in for a lifetime for $1,000. And if you need a payment plan for that, everybody who's in Limitless, if you're here, I know you're part of Limitless community, just message me and I'll see what we can work out to help you do a payment plan on that so that you can get the lifetime membership and you don't have to worry about it anymore, right? It gives you these monthly training calls that we do live, and then you don't have to worry about taking copious, crazy notes because you have access to the recordings, plus any workbooks that I put with each one of the trainings that we do. It also allows you to get hot seat coaching calls that I do 4 times a year only for sales school members, which means that you get your questions answered directly about your business, which there's hardly any membership programs that do that. You get access to the community so that you can get 24/7 guidance and support. I do live guest experts from time to time, and you get an entire business resource library. If you love the trainings that I do, it's a no-brainer. Like, every training I've ever done and every course I've ever created is inside of sales school. I don't sell my courses separately. When I create them, I either create them for my clients as bonuses, or I create them for the people who have invested in sales school. So bit.ly/supernova enroll is where you want to go to enroll, or you can just message me if you want to talk about a payment plan or something like that. That's it. I want to leave that. I saw something, another question from somebody. In my interviews, I have testimonials. I just need to get yep. Here we go. Let me see. Considering help someone, good, thank you. If not a client question for why did you invest, could be why did you seek my help? Yes. They still did invest, right? They invested time for the session. They invested time to hear the strategy. So that's what I would say, like, why did you take time out of your day to do the session or something like that? That's typically what the type of question that I would ask, because I want people to understand there's different ways to invest. Resources come in different formats, and it's not always monetary, right? So yes, you are on the right track with that. All right, so it looks like there's no more questions. We're actually finished early. I'm super proud of myself. I have 2 hours slated for sales schools. So Shamika is getting good with this stuff. Here's the deal, guys. I always make the invitations to the programs that I have. I know that my free stuff is so good that it can give you the illusion that you have everything you need and you can figure it out. But I also, one of the reasons why I do tons of great free content is because I don't sell low-end programs. And this is my way of feeling confident that I'm not leaving people out there in the world trying to figure it out on their own, because my programs are such a high-end investment to work with me. But I also know that the number one thing that people need is not necessarily more strategy. Sometimes they need the whip. Sometimes they need the community. Sometimes they need to be surrounded by people who are doing what they want to do so they can get the results. And when they step into that environment, they do it more quickly. So my job is to make the invitation. My job is to give you access. Your job is to choose. I don't have a problem with that. So I will always give you access. I will always give you the opportunity to step into another level of working with me that will open up more connection and more ability for me to stalk you a little bit more and help you along the way with creating more sales in your business. So I want you to know that. And that's it, guys. I will see you on the next sales school session. Pretty sure Paula will have this up. She gets it up faster than I can say, get it up. So I'll let her know that we're done. It's recorded. And then she will usually post inside of the community, the Facebook group, to let you guys know that it's active inside of sales school so that you can watch and review the recording. All right. I'm going to unmute everybody so you guys can say bye to each other. All right, guys. I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Shamika.
Bye.
You're welcome. Bye.
Thank you.